Good evening, everyone. Switch down here. Yeah, this stream will not be any particular one. As you may can see the title, Bored Friday Stream. Yep, I am pretty much bored. And, yeah, I really even had any other plans for particular stream otherwise. Um, and you may wonder if it's gonna be a randomizer. Yeah, it won't be any Mario randomizer today since the game guy is out. He is actually celebrating his dad's birthday today with his family, and so yeah, it won't be any doing that. It was originally well, at least that's something that I hoped that we would have to do the second part of Smash and Pass that we did last week, but it won't be doing that since the game guy is unfortunately unavailable. He is out celebrating his dad's birthday, and Malachite is also won't be joining in any streams for a while since he is unfortunately been sick with some sore throat. So he won't be joining in. So that means no Smash or Pass or Gage stream or even Mario Randomizer today. So yeah, I think we're just regular board stream. But if anyone has any ideas or they would just join in to talk, well, they're always welcome in to join in. As long as they are remember my rules. Be kind and no judging of, but most of all, don't be rude. That's one of my main rules. Um, Starlight and Twilight Story. No, actually, I haven't. For the past 2 weeks, well, this will be the second week, I haven't done any love stories or true friend stories at all. Reason? Well, I have been taking my annual summer break from doing stories. And but I will go back to do stories next week as normal. But it is that I'm not sure exactly which stories we're doing. Have been asked plenty of stories for the past couple of weeks, couple months, and even for the past few years. So, but um, but since your birthday isn't in August, so I still had time to do that. Though there is one particular story that someone had asked me to do. Uh, Rodimus Prime, Optimus Prime's successor, with Twilight as a love story. I was like, whoa, 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 really? Well, to be fair, it's not wouldn't be the first time I've done MLP Transformer love story or true friend story. I have done one as a true friend story where Bumblebee and Applejack meets up and true friends, and where Twilight actually ends up dating Optimus Prime. And this is kind of a canon in based on that. You see, Hasbro, which is the owner of both Transformers and MLP series, they actually made a cooperation, a crossover in a comic series about a year ago, I believe, or maybe 2 years ago. Another couple of comic issues there, where the Autobots and Decepticons somehow ended up in Equestria. They were, in fact, the main cause of that happened was actually Queen Chrysalis. Yeah, surprising enough, Chrysalis the one that had actually caused it. But here's the thing: Transformers and Equestria are two separate universes. And how that's even possible that they end up in a travel in a universe? Some of them had like open some sort of rift in space and time, or a black hole or something or a wormhole. No, it turned out that Chrysalis wanted to create a new army. So she actually used a spell, and the spell somehow interfered with the Decepticons' space bridge tunnel and caused all of them to end up in Equestria. I know for a fact I had even read some of those comics at all, but I had only seen pictures based on these comics. One is that Starscream ended up in Manhattan, where he declared himself as Emperor of Equestria. And in fact, he even wears a cloak, a royal cloak, and he forces some of the opponents there to polish his metal body. And one of those pony slays that is forced to do so in another other than Rarity. And in this another thing is I know for a fact they even somehow got back to their own universe. And in this comic series, I don't know how, but Sombra is back. And somehow he brainwashing some of the Decepticons, and so that means that Megatron actually, for temporarily, allies with the Terran Transformer, the Autobots. He becomes their ally and helps them to defeat Sombra. Because if you remember Sombra in this time traveling episode where Twilight and Spike and traveling to different timelines, in which one of those were when Sombra is controlling the Empire with some form of mind control spell. It's similar to that in the comic book series when he did that with Decepticons. And you may ask, why is Megatron become an ally to the Decept Autobots? He could just simply have watched decide to have um, Sombra to defeat the Autobots. Well, technically he would, but then you have his problem is how he would have had to defeat Sombra because magic itself in his universe, in the Megatron's universe, is unknown. There are no such magic at all. In fact, even though he is a very strong leader, a strong fighter, all that, but he may not even have a standard chance against magic, which is a completely unknown concept to him. So, and even though that even Megatron has not always been a Decepticon, he in fact used to be an Autobot, but he was even the brother in arms to Orion Pax, aka Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime's first real name was actually Orion Pax before he was given this matrix of leadership. So basically, he helped the Megatron helped the Autobots and the main six how to defeat Sombra, and they were able to return back to their own universe. But how? I don't know. Like I said, I hadn't even read the comics. But it's possible to read those comic books online for free, since I actually done that with G5 comic book series, the one that when Discord made appearance in. I actually read all of those. What if Kosuglo was Diamond your sister? It's actually not a bad idea. I mean, considering at least that, well, that depend. Like, she wouldn't be like, well, it's only one way I've considered. That's two ways. Actually, three ways. One, she is actually that Cozy Glow would be spoiler rich and filter rich second daughter. She's born sometime after Damijara, but never mentioned. Two is that she is a half sister of Timothyara. In fact, that She is either that she is the daughter of Filter Rich or Spoil Rich, and the third is that she is a stepsister. But even Kozuglo would have been the half sister to one of to Diamond Tiara. It's a very not a bad idea as a concept and as an idea itself. In fact, we have known for many franchises that where one day suddenly one of the main characters suddenly learns they have a completely unknown sibling out there. It's like it's like a Family Guy where Peter is actually one of his other children walks up to his place after had learned who her father was, and seeing his reaction to see a number of other kids out there, like there is over a dozen of them. So, if assuming like the, let's see if for example like Diameter is Diameter, the Cozy is Diameter's half sister, but if she would have been the half sister, I doubted that she would have been the daughter of spoiled rich because I really don't believe that. I would have made think maybe that she could have been the younger daughter to Filterage. But then is the question is she been was that before Diamond's that was that when it could have been before Spoiler Rich was even had met Filterage? Or is that he had an affair with another mayor during the time he's married with Filter Spoiler Rich? Well, if it were possible to learn that Diamond Tiara's have a half sister that was born from her father's affair, and since his family is rich and is a well connected influence in in that small town itself, if it had come out that Filter Rich had an affair with a different mayor, then that would have been a huge scandal. If it had come out in the public that Filter Rich had an affair and he got another mayor pregnant, yeah, it would have been a huge scandal. And Spoiler Rich would not even couldn't even stand to be married and being in the radar of attention of her husband's cheating. She would have definitely had divorced him. But the question is also who would have taken control of the custody of their daughters? Well, first, Spoiler Rich would not have nothing to do with Kozuglo, since she is not the mother of her. So Spoiler Rich would may have just taken Diamond Chara with her, since she is her biological daughter, not Kozuglo. And it's also another thing is if it would have come out that Filter Rich had a romantic affair with another mayor and got her pregnant, it's a possibility. Without this a small town, everyone would know about this scandal almost immediately. You don't underestimate the power of the word. Meaning, if one spoke of one something, is that how rumor starts? And eventually, everyone in town would have known about it. So the only solution that Spoil Rich would have to do is to take Diamond Chora and move far away from Ponyville. It could have been to another different big city like Manhattan, Trondheim, to some other relatives. And even so, even though that even she had moved away with Diamond Chora, is that I'm no way if I'm mistaken that the rumors of her ex-husband's affair would eventually spread to that town as well. At least they don't know that the other neighbors or relatives to Spoiler Rich would know that that it was her husband that was the cause of the problem, not her. She was a faithful one. But if Simon Chora actually Or if Cozy Glow wasn't born to from an, through during an affair, what if that she was actually born maybe before Diamond Chora was even born? Well, that's also a possibility, and that Felderich couldn't even that he wasn't even maybe that Felderich could get a mare pregnant, but he wasn't even aware of that, and this mare decided to raise the child herself, or she didn't want, or what if this particular mare never told Felderich that she was pregnant with his child? And even if he was not aware of that, and perhaps one day Kozuglo would have found out who her biological father is, she goes to admit to Ponyville to look him up and realize that she has an older sister, or maybe another sister that's, well, maybe. I mean, it's a possibility, at least on that. But there is many other possibilities. Like if Filderich would have been cheating on Spoilerich, she would have taken custody of Diamond Jonah and moved away from Ponyville. Because living in a small town where rumors of the scandal would even be that would quickly spread. And she would be looked at many times during the day. She could perhaps even leave into her own house without being stared at, feeling so uncomfortable to being looked at, being watched at every time she goes out from her own home. She can have, perhaps she can even leave her own house and even be in her own yard if the police couldn't be watching her. Living in a small community, being absolutely stared at, even though she had no, even though that she had no, even though she was not the direct cause of that cheating or anything. Well, but if Costa Glow would have been the sister of Diamond Tiara, it would have been interesting. But it is a lot of any other ideas of who could have actually been as her sister. But there, even though that even they might have been sisters, there is also the possibility of one thing: they may not even look alike. Like if anyone like they might be twin sisters. I wanted to say right now they're not. They can even be as identical twins because they don't even look alike. So, but it is also a possibility that I also may have figured out. What if? What if that they weren't even biological related at all? I mean, what if? Let's say from this example, if that Cozy Glow wasn't, if she was the adopted daughter of Filter Rich and Spoil Rich, what if that Cozy Glow was actually the daughter of an old friend to Filter Rich, and that he was like the godfather to Kozuglo, and her parents passed away in an accident. And since he was a godfather, and since maybe it was like let's say that the Kozuglos had parents, and they were passed away, and that Philip the Rich was her godfather, and Spoiler Rich could have been her godmother, and that Cozy's biological parents could have could had a will, like a testament, having the statement that rather being put their own daughter for an orphanage or adoption agency is that they would have rather having their old friends who share who is Kozuglo's godparents to take care of raising her. It's not impossible because it happens quite often actually, where someone's child would have been, let's say, if I had a goddaughter and I married, and my friend is passed away, and since I'm the closest to as a family friend and even her godparent, godfather, I perhaps would have been approached, even asked if I want to take her in. I would. It's an example. So yeah, I mean, what if like even if they're not even related, perhaps that Cozy Glow couldn't just have been adopted in a family. Either from than a friend to both her to Cozy Glow's parents are gonna passed away, and that she was a goddaughter to them, or simply that Cozy Glow was living in an orphanage, and that Diamond wanted to have a sister, but her mother didn't perhaps couldn't even get pregnant anymore, maybe from complications or anything. So they decide why not to adopt at least. So they do. So perhaps that Coastal Glow could have been adopted from an orphanage or adoption agency. That kind of things happens more do you know. Do you think you could do Coastal Glow and Diamond Chora True Sister as a story? Hmm, I actually have been suggested a similar idea from Malachite a while back to do it as true sibling stories. I haven't really thought much about it, but I mean, considering a list of the other main characters, they're only like Applejack, Rarity, all the main six. They have some siblings, but I don't think that's. I mean, in fact, of all the other characters, like Vinyl or Octavia, they don't have any siblings. Well, actually, Vinyl has an older brother, but he had never actually been mentioned or seen in the show. Only been mentioned, or actually, he did make an appearance in one of the comics. He also, I think, also that he's a musician or a DJ like Vinyl. But then it was someone even asked, "What about doing a true friend, a true sibling story between Dinky and Derpy?" Well, that's the thing. We don't even know if there even is mother and daughter or sisters. Because if you go look at MLP Wikia, go to Derpy's page, look in her character list of relatives. There are no mention of any relatives at all. So, and what about the Twilight? One of her parents has a brother, which is an uncle to them. Though that's another thing I can't do as a true friend story or a true sibling story. The thing is, I don't even know who is it, which one of the parents has a brother. They never actually mention that. Their uncle is only mentioned just one time throughout the 9 seasons. So it's impossible to tell exactly from which one it is. And then what about Cadence? She has no siblings. She has never even mentioned any of her actual family. Though even that Celestia and Luna are in fact considered as Cadence adopted aunts. But that's it. There are a lot of many characters in a franchise that I could have done as a true friend story or even a true sibling story. But many of the characters had only been like mentioned in in the comics. So the question is if they would even consider this canonical characters like canon characters. But they're also that if not once before now when I looked through Trixie and Lyra's on MLP Wikia, there were mention of an ancient ancestor to them. There were actually even some pictures of those ancestors, but they were not mentioned by any name, like official name. It's pretty much just similar to Sunny Star Scout's mother. We know for a fact that she has a mother, but her true name is still a bit mystery. So, unfortunately, from that, it's not possible to make a story. I mean, I would have loved to make a love story based on Argyle and Sonny's mother. But since we don't even really have Sonny's mother's real name, it's a bit tricky. I mean, if I came up with it as what if I came up with the name for her mother, and later turned out that was even close to that? I mean, yeah, it's something I probably could have done, but well, since I kind of done that similar in the past when I did a Star Wars story where there was one character was actually only known as unidentified hut dancer or something like that. She didn't have an official name. Um, so yeah. About Star Wars, I know that some of my friends may not even be a Star Wars fan out there. I recently have been watching the newest Star Wars: The Acolyte that on not Disney Plus. It has only been like 8 episodes of it. It's generally taking place about 100 years before the first movie, around 132 BBY. My first opinion about that whole series, I mean, I appreciated that they decided to focus on any Star Wars character that's set to take place before the main franchise, the main movies or a series even took place. I was really surprised at that. But my honest opinion about Star Wars Acolyte, I would have to, if I had to give it stars as a rating, um, I would have to give it 1.5. That's it. Even though I appreciate it and some of the special effects are good, but the whole thing of Star Wars The Acolyte, mm, it was pretty not that good. I was excited to see it. I was. I was really excited and really curious to seeing this how this would even happen. But even though I was surprised that they actually included a Wookiee, a Jedi Master as a Wookiee. And Wookiees are in fact a rare among the Jedi's. In the canon, there's only been like less than a handful of characters that is a Jedi. Like uh wow. Um what's his name again? The small Jedi youngling that survived Order 66. But over in that, there's one character that in the series known as the Stranger, Quimir, the Master, even though his real name is never been revealed. It turned out eventually that he used to be a Jedi, but never revealed if he was still as a Padawan or if he was a Jedi Knight when he left the Order. But one of the big shocking news is that when the Stranger and May or Ausha left the planet together, in that cave, there was this hooded, mysterious figure standing around by the opening, had this long, thin, bony fingers. I can tell right now, when I saw that figure, I was like, yeah, I know exactly who that is. That was Darth Plagueis. So I looked it up. I looked up on Wikipedia, and sure enough, it was Darth Plagueis. And if you don't know who Darth Plagueis is, that is actually the Jedi Master, oh, sorry, Darth Sidious Master. Darth or Palpatine's own master. But the thing is, Palpatine wasn't even born. He wasn't even born until like many years later. He was actually he wasn't supposed to be born for the next 48 years. So why was Darth Plagueis on this particular planet? And he was the part also a master of this following. He was following this ancient rule of two, one master, one apprentice. So Dark Plagueis was not the master of the stranger, because if he were, he would even have been allowed, the stranger wouldn't have been allowed to take Osha as his apprentice, because that would have been against the whole this long tradition of the Sith. So I don't believe so. But there later turned out that Osha and May, who were perhaps believed to be twins, but the true fact is, they are not even twins at all. How? Well, twins, that identical twins, they look identical. The only thing is that the only a few things that tell them apart: fingerprints. The fingerprints don't match as if they're identical twins. They were actually created, both of them. I was surprised at that. So maybe this possibility that Dark Plagueis somehow had learned about this mysterious twins. They are supposed to be created by this um, covenant, or this group of Force witches. And and since Dark Plagueis did experimented with the midichlorians, the small microscopic life forms that literally was responsible for the Force to exist, he did manipulate the Force throughout his lifetime. And here is the fact: Dark Plagueis is the one that is literally the one that caused to the Force to react on his one of his experiments, which resulted in a chosen one to be born. So Dark Plagueis is the one that directly the cause that Anakin was even formed or even made through the Force to his mother Shmi. After all, Shmi explained there were no father figure in the picture ever, so it's possible. So I may wonder, why was even Dark placed on that planet in the first place? Even though he may not even be the master to the stranger, but it's a possibility that the stranger and Dark Plagueis had been working together. Maybe they were connected somehow. Maybe Dark Plagueis did train. Maybe that they were not even master and apprentice, but it's a possibility. Maybe that they were just, maybe that they were like colleagues, and that they were just conversations that discussed, debated on things. And that may also cause why, or at least how, Dark Plagueis became aware of those supposed twins, Osha and May. And that may have made his obsession of creating life. You may wonder why he was doing all this with the manipulating the force. He was trying to find a way to cheat death, to achieve immortality. That was actually kind of mentioned in the third movie during this conversation between Palpatine and Anakin when they were in this opera, kind of that way. But in the end, Palpatine murdered his own master around the time of uh, the first movie. I mean, that is just how it works. There can only be one master and one apprentice. How would Charlie react if her dad and Alistair are fighting each other in season 2 of Husband Hotel? Ooh, well, uh, man, that is just hilarious. I mean, since in the first season, when they made the Husband Hotel, yeah, I will tell you, it was funny as hell. Even though I can tell right now, season 2 is actually confirmed to happen, but it won't be released um, anytime this year. It might be released as either late 2025 or even as early 2026. It's only that they may take 1.5 year to even produce this and whole the whole series. But seeing Alistair and Lucifer fighting against each other, oh boy, that was fun. Though many people may wonder, um, like Lucifer in the Bible, he's also known as Satan, and that means that he's the like both of them in Hazbin Hotel. Correction to that, he is not. Satan is one another original character. In the Bible, there is the seventh sense. Lucifer is the ruler of hell, and he's not one of the seven sins. Satan, he is one of them. And I do believe Satan might appear in the next couple of episodes of Helluva Boss. Yeah, another thing about that, Helluva Boss won't be even mentioned throughout Hazbin Hotel. Even though that series is quite amazing and all, I mean it's hilarious. Sadly, after Hazbin Hotel, after Hell of a Boss had reached and final its fourth season, it will be just that, four. Even the creator Visipop had confirmed Hell of a Boss will only had four seasons. After the fourth one, it will be completely over. I wish they could not have done that. I mean, first, Hell of a Boss or even Has-Been Hotel was originally from the beginning a fan made series that was on so that Visipop made. And that it was so even the first pilot episode that was published back in 2019, I believe it was. After first pilot episode, I was surprised that Visipop was somehow approached or making her has been Hotel series and to an actual TV series. I was like, what? Oh man, that series is just great. I mean, I love Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss. Even though Has Been Hotel is way better, Lucifer, well, not bad character. And but if I had to say one of my favorite ones is absolutely Charlie. The fact that she is the daughter of Lucifer and Lilith, though even Lilith is missing throughout the entire series. She is nowhere else in hell. And later turned out that she was in fact in heaven for the past 7 years in according to the series. And how is that even possible? Because those sinners isn't even allowed in hell or anything like that. So what kind of agreement had Lilith in order to do to being allowed to be in heaven? It's never been explained because even though Charlie had tried to call her mother for several times for those 7 years, I mean, what kind of agreement did what kind of agreement did Lilith agree to, and so that she could stay in heaven? I was really surprised, and that Sir Pentius, and that he was somehow the first one to end up in heaven as redeemed. Seeing Emily's face like a such joy, but seeing Sarah's face, she was like, ah, she didn't even believe in any of this. But there is, when it comes to Has Been Hotel season 2, I actually believe at least one thing. Two of the characters, Lilith and Lute, Adam's second in command, will have two major parts in season 2. And I would not be surprised that during the time of season 2, that Charlie would have been informed that Serpentius had in fact arrived in heaven. If that happens, if that somehow get up, then that she get the news that Serpentius had redeemed and was now in heaven, and if that comes out in the public in hell, that one former sinner actually managed redeemed and was allowed to enter heaven, that Charlotte's idea worked. And that may happen. I believe that her hotel might be packed of other sinners that's willing to give a chance to end up there. But there is one thing I really are very interested to know. Angel Dust. He is a sinner, but since Valentino owns Angel Dust's soul, can Angel Dust enter the heaven, even though that someone can owns his soul? That is a major good question to even ask themselves. Like, if like is someone owning one's particular soul, can the spirit or at least the sinner redeemed? Even though he does redeem, is it even possible for him to even enter in heaven if Valentino owns his soul? It's another thing. It's about Husk, the bartender. Can he actually end up in the heaven as well? Because after all, Alistair owns his soul. And if, I was even surprised that Husk used to be an overlord. I was like, what? So apparently anyone can be an overlord. But there is one, even though he doesn't see himself as an overlord, which is Alistair, he is one of those supposed overlords or sinners in hell you don't want to cross. You don't want to put him on the bad side. After all, when he first arrived in hell in 1930s after he died, well, let's say he literally took care of several other overlords which have been in dominant power for centuries. He literally had several other overlords in hell completely eradicated. But other than that, Alistair is actually a funny character, but as long as you don't push them to the bad side. But even though I was surprised that Vaggie is an angel, in fact, a former exorcist's angel, and the fact that she kept the whole thing a secret from Charlie, I mean, I can understand why. Because if Charlie, she was one of the many angels that literally was sent to hell to eradicate many of the sinners to maintain the population to make sure that it doesn't then overpopulate it. But I can understand that Charlie would have been heartbroken. The one she trusted the most, the same values of hers, shared the same dreams, and that in fact learning that she used to be one of those people that literally went down to heaven to hell to kill the sinners. Yeah, it's I can understand that part. But here's not one thing that many people may not even know about this whole series itself. If you had ended up in hell, hell is divided in many different so-called rings. But if you would end up in hell as a sinner, you can't travel to any other rings in hell. You're only being confined to one particular place. And that's the problem. You can't even go anywhere. And if you were a male sinner end up in hell in a hospital hotel series, if you fell in love with another female sinner, you could actually literally get married with her and all that, but you can't start a family because that is one part of the punishments. You can't have a child. That is a part of the punishments. Another thing is you can be a sinner in hell for 10,000 years without age. You literally don't age in hell. But Hazbin Hotel is a pretty badass series. I'm looking forward to season two, which is confirmed to be happening. I just don't know when or how many episodes is gonna be in it, but I'm still looking forward to it. Hey, but I'm looking forward to see more fighting scenes between Charlie's dad and Luz and Alistair. I mean, Alistair. I mean, even Lucifer in the last episode after they were singing, "Oh, that guy." He was well first happy singing with the others, but when Alistair just suddenly appeared, Lucifer was like, "Oh, that guy." Like really unfriendly, unhappy kind of expression. uh the only way to even to watching the series is on Prime Video or Prime, the streaming service. Huh. And I thought you weren't even supposed to be here.
I wasn't.
Then how are you even here?
We had some scheduling issues.
Again? Oh boy.
We got the date right, but we don't. I don't fucking know what the hell we're doing at all.
Hmm. Um, Robert, if you're referring to one of those, like I did last year and the year before, Christmas gift stores to some of my friends, that type of story. Um, about that, Malachite actually had changed or at least suggested that some of my friends will choose their own stories, and it's gonna be like only 12 stories for 12 friends. I mean, I have a lot of friends on YouTube as well, but last year, well, I was supposed to be posting every story on like the first year when I did this. I put the stories on December 1st, December 12th, 2nd, and onwards, like for one story for per day. But last year, that even happened. I put all the 12, well, actually, those 14 stories on the same day. Well, I did in fact have some issue with uploading that, which is that you can only upload 15 videos each time, which is a limit to that. So yeah. So this year I really don't have any particular idea to which stories to making for once. Um so yeah. Another thing is I have also mentioned this before that Fi Goddess were supposed to be coming over this year, and she was waiting for her passport to arrive. Since she had been waiting for that for over a year, she finally got her passport about sometime by in sometime by the end of June this year. But she's not coming over anytime this year at all. That main reason is that oh, Colonel Lane is here. The main reason is that her family is going to do a lot of particular events like festivals throughout August, September, October, and so yeah. And they first thought maybe come over to when on my birthday, but there is an actual festival or one particular event on my birthday that year, each year. So that's not happening. And I know for a fact that she's going to this type of events where they look around for this uh, they have this. This is in the winter season where they go to another town where they can see people's snow sculptures, ice sculptures. If you've seen people being on the beach making sculptures of sand, it's similar like that, but made of snow. I'll tell you, it is amazing. One particular ice sculpture she showed me about 2 years ago, it looked like a really a world. I mean, it looked like a working, uh, like a mini model of an actual truck. I even saw this on YouTube, well, actually on Google, that someone actually made a car, a full working car made of ice. No joke. The only thing is that, well, actually, the tires was made of the only the body itself of the car was made of ice. They have an actual working engine in it, but otherwise, it was pretty amazing. Um, no worries. I know that you had the fun to be in married on a yacht. Excuse me. So yeah. So yeah, I really have no idea about that. And for Christmas stories, I mean, if you have any requests, I mean, though, please, for a moment. Otherwise than that, and like I said in the beginning of the stream, I haven't done any stores for the past 2 weeks now since I took this annual break from that. By by sometime next week, I actually going to start working on my True Love stores and True Friends stores. Hmm. Um. Coaster Glow and oh, oh my god, tired for not even done anything. Damage Warning Coaster Glow is a true sister story. Hmm. Well, be honest, I may have to ask some of my friends and even Five Goddess what she thinks about that idea. I don't think she would even be against though, but yeah, it seems I have done a lot of true love stories for almost wow, what can it be? Boy, about almost 9 years now, give or take. So but making like another not an actual series, but another playlist of true siblings stories. Um, I can tell right now it might not be as many stories like compared to true love stories. For instance, a lot of the characters found it throughout the entire has only a few of those actually had siblings that I was mentioned or even seen in the actual series. I don't know if I would even include those from the comics. And like I said, I cannot do the one uh, about Twilight's uncle as a true sibling story. That is 100% impossible because I don't know who the parent is the sibling to, if it's the mother or the father. I don't even know. I mean, even if I would look up anything, because he only mentioned just one time. That's it. So, yeah, that's just. But a true sibling story series, I think maybe I can do that. But people should not be expecting a long list like over 100 stores, maybe not even compared to this the true love stores are. That's is one thing you may not should not expecting to. But I actually may find some, but that's it. And as my my most recent channel update video, what I mentioned about this new auto series, I only have Let's see now. One, two, three. About four chapters left to record. I had even worked on the. Uh, I don't think I have worked on the. Let's see now. So far I have worked on. Oh, yeah. I wait a minute. This can't be right. Wait, just in case. Let's see. Yep, I actually have been just worked on the fourth chapter completely, and I believe I actually even have recorded all chapter one to chapter four. I have yet at this point not made any progress on chapter five to eight. So those are the only ones that are still have not been worked on. I prefer to work on one chapter at a time. And there is also that I have more than one other series in mind. Um, there is another one that I also had in mind to do, and it's called Followers of Grugar. I kind of actually started slowly worked on it, but and there is another one which I really hadn't even came up with a name for it yet. Um, Not sure if it will be remade this year or next year. It's well, I call it Project Moon at the moment. It's gonna be about Santa Shimmer and Pinkie Pie, Equestria Girls. I slowly actually have been worked a little bit on the first chapter on paper, but that's as much I have done so far on it. And boy, I do have a lot of work to do. Yeesh. Okay, so let's see that. Let's see that. Ah, hey, oh my gosh. And at the moment, I actually still have not worked on any, you know, quizzes to Game Show Stream for the past few days since I've been done some other things. I had in mind for a few that's been based on let's see where the lists are. No wait, let's see. Nope, nope. Where are you? Ah, here we go. I actually had made a list of few based on a couple of movies. I was considered to do even based on one of those classical Disney movies like Snow White or something, but not sure. But yeah. And at the moment, I have also, and I mentioned it once before, well, several times before. I have a list of how many questions on papers on about cryptids so far is 1,483 questions total, give or take. And I'm not going to try to recount them because I tried it a couple of times, but after a few times, I actually lost track. So that's just average, I believe, or estimate. If Kozuglo got married to Flurry Heart, would that make Kozuglo Twilight niece-in-law? Uh, I I don't know. Um, a lot of those it's a lot of mystery even to me. I even know how that even worked. I mean, I've seen like grandfather-in-law, uh, son-in-law, mother-in-law, like that, which I more comment about. Niece-in-law, I don't know. I even don't know for sure about it. Oh, about Tigress. Um, for the next Smash and Pass, there is one particular character in that list, which is Tigers. So far on that list, let's see here. It's about 97. I decided to just make it 104. I thought of making about the characters from Total Drama Island series, but I dropped it. I looked up what those characters could have been at age. Turned out they were around 16. So that's out. I wasn't even sure because they look old enough. Oh boy. So how you guys been doing though?
I've been doing all right.
Yeah, I haven't even done much today as myself. Being hot, humid. So yeah, I haven't done nothing much at all. Watch TV. Um. Oh, yeah. Rarity from LP with Aphrodite from this Greek mythology as a true love. Ew. Um. Don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that they can, if that can work or not? If he was like
No.
if he referring to the one Aphrodite from like Hercules movie series, that two series, that Greek goddess, um, I really have honestly though no idea. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think it can actually work, or
Probably not.
yeah, it's just I mean, could it? What do you think? Do you think it can work? Could said nope. So I think I had to agree on that since if I understand if I even ask Fi Goddess, she may also say no. Um, the only reason I say no on that it's how to even come up an explanation because the Greek goddess Aphrodite and others they were worshipped in the antiquity times, and I mean since they're on Earth and Rarity would have to travel through the mirror in order to end up on Earth, which I mean I can see no problem in that part if she would have ended up on Earth. But in Greek mythology, if somehow she would end up in that particular time frame where the Greek gods were worshipped, well, the only thing is how to even to explain how something in the mirror would have been malfunctioned to in rather from taking her to the modern era, but to antiquity times. Unless that Twilight or someone else was performing a spell and the spell hit the mirror and somehow causes interference, but allowing Rarity and that upon Earth, but somehow time travel backwards time and end up in Greek during that time. Though there would have been one slight problem for her. Um, since in back in ancient Greek, they were just speaking ancient Greek as a main language or Latin, and Latin, which is kind of considered as an extinct language, even though it's still spoken in Vatican City and a few other places in the world. It's just that how to Rarity to even be communicating with anyone in that time frame. It's also a possibility if that would have happened. Let's say chance that she could end up as a slave. If she was even married or anything, many people could end up as slaves. So the whole idea is like a request for her trans somehow end up in the ancient times on Earth as a Greek time. Um, yeah, I have fair to think it's. I think that's not a. It wouldn't even work. Do you think Star World is Trixie's grandfather? Um, I mean, even though they look kind of the similar coat color, um, and even though that he has white hair or white mane and tail, it's not like necessarily that that's his actual color. We don't even know what color he did had when he was younger. He made it even had darker mane and tail at the time. But I mean, it's not impossible that Starsworld could have been her grandfather. Though, knowing for a fact, even that would have been could be a possibility, except if you remember one detail. Starsworld was actually supposed he was born over 1,000 years earlier. So, and he wasn't even immortal. He was still mortal pony. And he was not like alicorns that he had a long lifespan. Not at all. He had his average pony lifespan. So how would he be the grandfather to Trixie? Well, if he had a child at that time when before he vanished to limbo, still have made him her ancestor, not the grandfather. Though, I mean, unless that he traveled somehow forward in time, since he did create the two time spells. Uh, even though the first one, even the first one didn't work out so well. It only allowed one pony to travel forward or backwards for only for a brief time. But the second spell were more advanced. So if let's say we're assuming that he did use the second time spell, try the time travel spell, travel forward in time, and that he ended up having a short relationship with this mare, and he traveled backwards in time again without knowing if he actually had a child in the future, and that child would eventually be Trixie's grandfather. In that point of view, it could have worked. But if he had invented the time travel spell, it would have been impractical for him to be Trixie's grandfather, unless that we had to have lived for 1,000 years, like the Alicorns. But he didn't, and he was had to been that, and also he spent over 1,000 years in limbo, which didn't allow them to age at all. So, and he couldn't leave the limbo at any time at all. The only way for it to have happened that someone had to gather all the 7 items for each the pillars had. That was the only way to have them to relief. But it's possible, at least, that if Starsworld had could have used his second, more advanced time travel spell, traveled some far future, and did somehow allowed to stay there for longer periods, and got even a mare pregnant, but even not aware of it, and that mare or that child would have been Trixie's grandfather. So in a way, Starsworld So that means Starfall not only is Trixie's grandfather, but also her ancestor. Complicated? Yes. Eh, I mean, if any people like, how the hell can he be her grandfather if he lived over 1,000 years earlier? Like, he can be her ancestor for God's sake, not grandfather. Well, like I said, if he traveled in far future with that spell, and if it actually did get a mare pregnant without even being aware of that, and he, in a way, are both Trixie's grandfather and her ancestor. Like I said, complicated how that even works, time travel, uh, all that complicated things when it comes to time travel. Don't think much into too much about it. It will give you a headache. Trust me, it's really that complicated. But otherwise, it's something I could consider is that without the time travel spell, it's possible that you could be her grandfather. But um, could ask what are my thoughts and opinion about Poe proposing to Tigers in a future Kung Fu Panda 5 and 6? Ooh. Well, it's even though this may be a little bit long fetch as an idea, because seeing in the first movie, Tigers was really much against Poe to be the new Dragon Warrior, but it took her some time to even to start to respect and start to show him kindness and respect that he deserved. I mean, I totally understand that she would have been one of the main five or the dangerous five. So yeah, I can understand, but there were actually I believe it was around time of Kung Fu Panda, Legend of Awesomeness. I believe it was around that time. There were even discussions of making uh, Kung Fu Panda 5 and 6, but those two ideas were eventually scrapped, and including Panda 3, Kung Fu Panda 4 was also scrapped, or at least put on the shelf. But the fourth movie did was made. So even though that the fifth and sixth movie is predicted might not even happen within several years, but don't give high hopes though, because even though that the current CEO of Disney, DreamWorks, or how this the one that's producing the series, even though that they have still have hope that there might be the two more, who knows? And as the new series of the Kung Fu Panda, where he travels along with this bear knight, I have not seen it much myself, and I may not even do it at all. I kind of lost interest in Kung Fu Panda for after the second movie. I hadn't even seen the third or the fourth movie. It's kind of a little bit long movie though. It's like a Shrek 5, which is confirmed to be taking place and to be made, and only the same donkey will not be in it. Fiona won't be in it. Um, the only that what I know of that movie is that it set place when Shrek first moved to the swamp, before he even met Donkey and the others. I'm surprised that they even have made a TV series based on Shrek. I mean, I haven't even seen all those short uh, Shrek movies they have made when they celebrating Halloween. Um, when they tried to scare, when he gathered Pinocchio, Ginger, uh, the Three Pigs, Donkey to the old Lord Farquhar's castle for stories telling. Um, yeah, and all that. And how in the end they threw eggs at the seven dwarfs. Yeah, that was funny. Oh. Or when then doing this Michael Jackson parody of the thriller or thriller in the end. It was good though. I was surprised that Lord Farquaad is actually the son of Grumpy of one of the seven dwarfs. And his mother is a princess. And it's not like Snow White or Cinderella or anything. It's just the princess that sleep on those huge pile of mattress and had this tiny pea in the bottom, and she felt this pain despite all that. I'm not sure if you guys even aware of that particular Brother Grimm story, but that her is the mother to Lord Farquaad.
Well, the Princess and the Pea. Of course, I know what it is.
Yeah, well, not so sure if you were. Yeah, I could find the Kung Fu Panda series. Uh, I mean, not bad. It's just kind of not interested in that. But I know for a fact that in the most current movie they made is that Ho is stepping down as the Dragon Warrior to training the new one. I thought maybe that he was going to remain as the Dragon Warrior, despite that, and also that he is also the new spiritual leader, like Ogwe were. I was like, okay, but I was surprised that he actually even mentioned other nations in this entire franchise, because the only one place that they main focus on was China. But now they have at least one other place, which is England. Yeah, England and Japan. Okay, I wasn't aware Japan was part of it, but yeah, Robbie's prediction of my true sibling playlist probably be 15 stores. Well, it's possible for 15. It could also be past 15, but it depends on how many. It's also that like I can tell right now what are the stores that will definitely work, and that is the main six brothers and simpler that stores. But yeah, if anyone had even suggested that to make, let's say, shining armor but Twilight, don't. That's not working at all. If anyone suggests that idea, my response will be boot in your butt. Nah, just kidding. That will be like a big no.
Um,
Um,
just
what?
absolutely no context because you were glitching out. You just out of nowhere, you just said something about a butt.
Ah, if anyone had asked me to do Twilight and Shining Armor as a love story, I'll be like, I will give him a boot in the butt. Uh, yeah, I mean, since I have first did the main love stories and the first though and all, then it came the dating series. Well, it's actually directly connected to the love stories, which since that evolves that particular characters. But yeah, I mean it's a long list. Then I did those other true love stories of based on different franchises, not that MLP characters, like from Digimon, Pokemon, also Star Wars. So yeah, that's what the you damn mosquito! Get away from me! Hate those things. Even though I prefer mosquitoes over the ticks, like those tiny, tiny bugs that crawls on you, drain bloods. No, thank you. But yeah, I have so many ideas for stories have been done though or been doing. You have no idea. Even on my email that Fire Goddess had sent me over the past, could have been almost 6 years now. Uh, total of 1,680 plus. So I have nearly 1,700 stores just on my email based on envelope pieces. So that's gonna be peachy peachy. Plus those ideas that I have. Plus the stores that I found on Derpy Borough, which last time I checked, and also last time they literally had it numbered. Now it's no longer. But last there was close to 200,000 shippings from season 1 to season 2 or G4. But I can say right now, and I said this before, some of those shippings may never not even gonna happen. Some of them actually are based on between some characters like Big Mac with Sweet Belle, or Miss Shirley with Sweet Belle, or I mean the Cutie Mark Crusaders, or um, did I even say it? Rarity with Tom the Rock, Twilight with a book. Like, how in the world are you dating an actual book? I mean, it's like if Game Guy was dating consoles. It's basically the same thing. It's like, how the hell that even possible? And his parents like, I think I need to take my son for therapy for something like that. So that's not happening. And as like I said, some stores that's been involves like siblings. No. Um. Other than that, no. So yeah, but I actually even had some ideas of doing some more uh another handful of crossover stories based on MLP and Sonic characters. Um, do you think you could do Gogo and Sun Wugong true friends? Um, well, that's a little tricky. I know for a fact it's from Dragon Ball series. I know Goku as it's based on his character, but um, last time I saw anything about the Dragon Ball series, like the animated one, what could it have been? I think maybe let's go see. Uh, ooh, I think maybe um, ooh, it had to be in at least 20 plus years. Last time I saw Dragon Balls was about 20 years ago or so. I have not even watched the series on TV or anything, not even online. It just that I never actually the whole series never actually got my interest. I just didn't much pay attention to it, and honestly, though, Dragon Ball series, it actually somehow how to say, it didn't speak to me. Like I didn't feel no connection. no like no basically no interest in series. So yeah, I think may not even do a Dragon Ball series. If anyone even had asked about My Hero Academia series, seen like 7 episodes of first season, but that's it. After just 7 episodes, I really like. I was like, is this good? It was a lot of confusion. Like suddenly one day, ordinary people had these superpowers. Like really, and that the even Almighty, the one is Saiyan, Super Saiyan type hairstyle, he can only using his power, or he was referred to not to use his power because it would only jeopardize his health. He could literally have died. And that he gave just one strain of his own hair to this boy that will be the main character, and that will give like a boost to of his power. I mean, a single lock of hair will give him a slight boost of power. What is this? So I was like, no, it's was too confusing, and so yeah, I was not really. I had seen a lot of animes over the years. I did see this Neon Genesis series, but it's called where set to taking place in Japan with this giant so-called angels, like alien beings, like tall as maybe as Eiffel Tower, maybe. And it was really confusing. Also, Rarity dating herself because Rarity is a narcissist. Yeah, you know, it's kind of that some people actually shipped her with her male counterpart, Elusive.
How would
So,
hold on a second. That just give me 1 second. I just got a question. It's real quick. How would she date herself? How would that even work? Would she like use like a magic spell and then she just clone herself? Oh wait, actually, you know what she would do? She would grab the biggest mirror she has to take her reflection.
oh, yeah, but no, I mean,
Okay. But if that happened, imagine that. You're just walking into like a restaurant or something like that, and you just see Rarity with a fucking mirror on the other side of the table. It's just like, what is she doing? Oh god, you
yeah,
know.
well,
I like that. That's funny.
it's though. I don't know if you know, there is actually one series that's no longer on air. Class of the Titans. There is actually it's kind of a bit interesting. Let's see, Class of the Titans. One of the main characters is actually a narcissist. I mean, no joke. He is literally a narcissist, and he look himself in the mirror. But each one of the main characters are actually a direct descendants to some of the most legendary Greek heroes. Like, let's go see here. I have seen all the episodes. That's about 52. Jay, which is the direct descendant of Jason. Atlanta, which is a direct descendant of Artemis. Harry, which is her direct descendant of Hercules. Archie from Achilles. Teresa for Theseus. Udi for Odysseus. Neil for Narcissus, or how to pronounce his name, which is basically the Narcissus classic form. So yeah, I can literally see that happen also. I mean, Rarity is clearly could be as would have been classified or categorized as as a narcissist. Narcissist, selfish, sometimes self-centered character, which I mean, some characters may, some of our viewers or fans or friends might like, that's spot on, or something like, nope, she's not narcissist, she's just, confused of herself, or, Blue Blood, yeah, Prince Blue Blood is definitely a narcissist. He is the biggest one, egotistic, narcissist. I mean, even on the first episode when he ever appeared, like when he came to the gala, why? I mean, please, God. Even though I don't believe in God, but still, sheesh, that, my dear friends, is a clear statement as narcissist. I mean, even though there's only one time, only about the only one thing about Blue Blood, when he appeared in a Question Games, if you manage to somehow look close to him, his cutie mark is not the same when he first appeared in season one. It's complete different. Might be an animated error, but if anyone had a like, as would you even date Rarity otherwise? Hmm. Well, I'd be like maybe. I mean, considering that she is a very deeply passionate about fashion. Myself, when it comes to fashion, I'm like, nope, not at all. I mean, I can dress as what I feel comfortable about, or anything like it. I mean, even though, like for example, even I can wear some things that's maybe even supposed to be for like for women. I mean, like t-shirts or socks. I mean, okay, is that like anything that forbidden to be embarrassed about? Not really. I mean, even my dad bought some shorts a while back. One of them was supposed to for were supposed to be for like for women, like really long shorts. They stops about just below your uh below the knee. I was like, even though my mom and dad knows that they're supposed to be for just for women, and they were supposed to be my mom, but I actually allowed to take it, and I actually don't wear mine to wear it on inside though. I mean, it's just like, I mean, even though it's supposed to be like shorts, but they look like sweatpants. So, is there any difference to me? Nope, not at all, nada. So, but if someone actually dared me to do a dare, and I had to like, if I failed, or if I had to like do something, walk around in let's say actual women clothes like a bikini or a dress, that I may not do. Just I will die of embarrassment. I'd be like, well, don't expect me to leave my room for the next several months or the rest of the year. Oh, you know what? I would have dared Cody to dress like a woman for the whole day at work and all. In return, I would give him 25 cents. Nah. I mean, would you guys do that if you were there to give him, say, 10,000 for it? Or just have to walk from, like, say, from the front door to your mailbox and back inside? Would you?
No, I would not.
Cody? Would you? Would you walk in a dress if someone dare you for like for 10,000 and you had to just like walk from the front door? Okay, he said no. Um, I would say maybe not 10, but if someone like okay, I'm like I would do for like a 10. No, make it 20, then I will do it. After all, our mailbox are not that far from our house. It's just like a short distance. But yeah, other things I live in a very tight neighborhood, so people know probably were started wondering what the heck are you doing. I mean, if I was there to walk in a dress for 10 or even 20,000, I'm if it's only like if I had to, I could. If I mean, if I can wear maybe a t-shirt and a pair of shorts underneath, even during the summer, okay, I'm like, okay, at least that I can do. But even if I'd be embarrassed, and I would like being a huge, I would like a huge talk about in the neighborhood for for quite a while. But I'm like, even though the neighbors might give me a big look and ask, or even look at me and like almost laughing and like, I'm like, they probably even don't like ask me like, I'm like, yep, that happened. And even most of my colleagues from the work like ask if they found somehow found out about it, like, and what they would ask me about what did they do this summer? Fishing, swimming, walked around in a dress, the basic things, basic same thing. What the hell? Huh, a
Uh-oh,
firework went off.
spaghettios.
Well, a firework went off. Really? I mean, there's no like a big holiday or anything for celebrate for fireworks. In fact, I believe fireworks is basically illegal during the time of this, we're no big holiday. Uh, about fireworks, my mom actually thinks that um, U.S. should probably stop using fireworks entirely, and not only U.S. but also every single country in the world. It's because of the environment. Like too many of those chemicals and other things that they release is eating a hole in the ozone layer. Well, I am in a way she's right. But if they had, I mean, if there were a way to produce or to manufacture fireworks that contained uh, some elements, the basic minerals that are in that.
I don't even know anymore.
I mean, if there were, I mean, if there were that someone could create manufactured ingredients, chemical ingredients of natural products that would have no harm to the environment or even the ozone layer, still had this bright colors to it. I mean, that would definitely would have worked. Otherwise, I mean, you know, about this Roman candles, right? This Roman Roman candle. It's a traditional type of firework that you can probably uh have hold been holding in your hand. It actually been banned in several countries because of tendency of malfunction. Like there is like a basically it's just like a stick or like a straw in the shape of it. It's usually about 6 millimeters or 0.524 inches diameter. It's about 3.1 inch long, but it also have been banned in countries like Finland and Netherlands. And get this, it's even illegal in several parts of the US. Like it's illegal in possession of or set off in states of California, Delaware, Florida, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, and Rhode Island. Those states are the ones that are illegal to even either possess Roman candles or even set on fire. I was like, okay. I had never even seen one of those. Even though we had in my family hadn't even set off any fireworks for a number of years. It's because it costs a lot and they can only be used like once. One year, or for one particular New Year, my mom she set up a small firework, and it didn't. You know those where you can that's put on a stick you can put on the ground or launch out like that. That one, but smaller version. It somehow landed back. It it fell on the ground and flew right up on my foot, on my feet, and boom, exploded. No damage, no burn. It was a small one, but if you want one of the big ones, that a different matter though. I mean, one particular other year, where it was just me, my mom, my sister, and her ex-boyfriend. We were setting off some fireworks, but just after we set off some fireworks, my hair was pretty smoky. It literally smoked. It's because that the fireworks has just launched above my head several times, and that smoke stacked somehow end up sticking in my hair for quite a while afterwards. I was like, it felt my hair was on fire. uh, there's only one year that we didn't buy any fireworks. That was 2004, around the time of Indian Ocean tsunami, shortly after Christmas. I don't know if you guys even were even aware of that one, but it was pretty bad one. Over 200,000 people died that day, and there were even some of the people that has not even been found even to this day. Some people lost their entire families, others just lost members. But there were in fact several animals that not lost their lives. Dogs, elephants, they actually long before the day that happened. They can actually sense when an earthquake happened. They also the main reason why there were no like any warnings about this tsunami because there weren't any. Every time when they're in that area, like Pacific Ocean or South Indian Ocean, they have this buoys or like a warning system. But at the time, they weren't know anyone in that area. But after that happened, it was immediately put some work in that. My country don't have to worry about tsunamis since we are basically living on top, middle of top of those plates, and uh, and there is not like a big ocean any near us. I mean, we have the Baltic Sea, we have the North Sea, but no, is it big enough for even that? And I would have not been much, probably wouldn't even be much affected since the mostly coastlines that have most been devastated. I live far away from coastline, really far away. So, I mean, I live basically inland. Otherwise, if that happened, well, I would be homeless. But yeah, tsunami in Sweden, as far as I know, has never happened. Volcanoes, nope. Last one was like millions of years ago. Asteroids or comets, something like that, nope. Last one was ooh, uh, here we go. It's called Cillian Ring, which is a basic prehistoric structure in central Sweden, which is the largest, one of the 15 largest impact and the largest in Europe, with its diameter of 32 miles. It can still be seen from high up in the air, like a circle, like a ring. And one of those parts of that has actually been a lake by now. And honestly, though, it's surprising, but it was created about what it was gonna be. It was created around they estimate from 365 to 370 million years ago, around Devonian era. That was way before any of the dinosaurs even existed. So yeah, but U.S. though is one of the countries that can definitely suffer from earthquakes, volcanoes, and tsunamis. But the only ones that mostly would been suffer from earthquakes, volcanoes, and tsunamis is the American West Coast, like San Francisco, which has happened. They suffer from this huge earthquake, and volcanoes, same thing. I think there are some volcanoes around where Coda lives in that state, or at least neighboring states like Montana. I think there are. I think that some of them are they just dormant, others are active. Earth volcano tsunamis. Yeah, if a tsunami would have happened to impact the west coastline, yeah, you should probably expecting like San Francisco, Sacramento, Seattle off the map, like wiped out. Well, that depends of how big they are. Oy. The artifact, like in Bermuda Triangle, this is called rogue waves. There are some expecting to be as, or said to at least to be able to reach uh, total height of 164 feet. So imagine a 164 feet tall wave. I'm like, where is my surfing board? Like, I'm like, Hawaii, here I come. I mean, no one would even dangerous dumb enough to even try to surf on a tsunami wave. Am I right? I wouldn't. Ah, so how's the weather over here for you guys?
Nah, that's all I would up to. Just yeah.
Here has been sunny all day. Temperature right now, I really have no idea. Let's see. Come on, really? Seriously? For some odd reason, I can't even go that. It's about that, and I have to try and convert that, which will be a pain in the butt all the time. I don't know why, and it's about mid 60 degrees. But it was higher earlier during the day, though. I think it was about close to but mid 70 degrees. I am really looking forward to winter. Huh, March 2025 when Beyblade reaches 25th anniversary. Huh, I wasn't even aware of that. You know, there were actually, um, I believe it was the 20th or 21st anniversary of, let's go see. Come on, really? Yeah, it was the 20th anniversary around 2020. Um, the it was actually based on this New Zealand uh, sci-fi drama series called The Tribe, which was basically based on where this virus had wiped out the entire adult population, and only teenagers and kids were immune. They were not affected. But without the adults, the whole society was collapsed. Then, as the name sends, the tribe, the kids, the teenagers forms groups as tribes in order to survive and all that. And basically, during 2020, on this series' 20th anniversary, it was about the time of the lockdowns around the world. Still, they have it have to celebrating their anniversary during the time of the highest peak of COVID. So basically, they talked about this global pandemic in the TV series that they were part of, but in real life, being an actual middle of a global pandemic that was killing people. What are the odds, right? What is it really odds that it's actually sometime they made this happen? But yeah, and even though in this the tribe series, the adults they literally try to find a cure, and they actually did find a cure for this virus, but it was way too late for mass produce, and it wasn't. It later turned out it was made of actual plants, like complete organic materials in it. And they believe that the virus was actually created by a scientific project, which they were supposed to be this anti-aging project, the project that to slow down or stopping the aging process. Uh, Instead for slowly bonded the project or the aging, it's a complete backfire on them. Instead for slowing down or stop it, it accelerated the aging process somehow instead for the adults. So after just 6 months at the series beginning, all adult population had completely died. But then in the series, since the final season, the whole world, or at least the big city, where mainly been focused on, they were this under tribe called the Technos. They were like really probably one of the most advanced that still had access to planes and technology. But one of the leaders created the virus again, but virus 2.0, even make that even deadlier than the original one. It was released, but luckily though, no one was killed by it. The main leader, the main tribe, called them mole rats because they lived in an abandoned mall, managed to get everyone out of the city before it was too late. But eventually they returned back to the city, and it turned out the virus had somehow died. Wasn't even as much of danger anymore. That was, of course, one of the books they made afterwards the series was made. I actually watched the series from season 1 to season 6, season 5, actually. The main reason why they stopped doing the series was because the main characters were getting older. They were not even their teens anymore. They were like their late teens. Um, well, yeah, that's true though, Cody. That in the latest Telltale series, with Sunny and Hitch is walking in the mirror room in that farmhouse, even there were some could have been hints of signs of Sunny and Hitch being shipped. It it's a 50-50 chance they either could have been, and other 50 is that they are just not even that they're supposed to be happening. In fact, it's also a chance that none of the main characters are not supposed to even be end up being with anyone. I mean, what if that Misty? What about no wait? What about like Pip? In one episode, she spent the whole day with Posy Blossom or Posy when they were under this carnival. They were each one of them were having a friend. They get this somehow magical uh, part of their bracelet, which Issy made. But if you had a friend doing the rides together, a small token or a small piece will appear on the bracelet, mimic the ride that you did. But Posey, she went through all those rides by herself, but nothing happened. She realized in the end, she believed at first that those bracelet was broken. But it wasn't until when she realized that she had a friend, and Pip decided to spend her day with Posey. In fact, Posey was even one of the few Earth ponies that was unlike with in the first chapter of Megan Mark is where she really was totally against the magic, and that she that it still has some problems to accept the Earth pony and the other pony kinds once again. But I mean, what if that they end up being shipped, her and Pip? I mean, yeah, I don't think that's not impossible. I mean, Jazz has end up in a ship with Rocky. I mean, they were even shipped even way before that, and turned out they were right.
The
I
hell was
mean,
that?
Jazz is. I don't know. I don't hear anything. Um, Probably. I mean, Jazz is an Earth pony. Rocky is a Pegasus. I mean, if the friendship had
Oh
even
god.
returned back to between Ponykind, well, let's say this: Jazz will now not even found her true love with the Rocky. She may not. I don't even know. But considering of all the other shippings out there, I mean, even though that Sprout, he had been shipped with some of the characters like Issy, Pip, among few that at least I've been aware of. So there is a possibility it's just gonna be like that. No matter how many shippings of the characters might not even be enough as. Despite how many fans are shipping between two characters, but in the reality, maybe not even a handful of those characters may not even end up with the character they were being shipped with. I mean, what if that Twilight is still alive and that she end up being a Telltale, and that in fact she end up with when and she end up with Sunny, as an example. I mean, I in fact has seen Sunny with shit with Twilight. I mean, okay, how about this? What if what if Hitch actually ended up dating both Sunny and Sip or Misty, like dating two mayors at the same time? It's not like a complete new concept and like that. I mean, I actually been asked before to do a love stories based on one male character with two female characters as a love story, but I'm not into that type of things. And in real life, majority of the countries in the world, what is not allowed. I mean, you can have. I mean, you can actually. Well, you can't be married with two partners. No, but let's say if Cody were end up marrying Sunny and dating Misty, that is absolutely fine. As long as he doesn't, as long as the both are completely okay with that, and all three of them okay with it, and as long as he doesn't try to propose somehow marrying Misty, though he could call her like the so-called sister wife. I mean, what I'd say if Roy would have end up dating or marry Deanna, and that she had one or two sisters, and that he ended up dating them both, and also, and quote unquote marrying both of them also, like having three wives, one main wife and two side wives or sister wives. That's wow. I don't even know how that even works. Oof, honestly though. Yeah, this water doesn't taste good. It tastes like water mixed with energy drinks. Oh, right. Yeah, I had drank that filled with energy drink earlier, so had not even cleaned it properly. But yeah, ugh. Wow, 2 hours. I would. Well, I wouldn't mind if I wouldn't mind if Sunny ended up dating either Spike or Discord or both. Nah, just kidding. But
Doesn't
we will see what happens. I mean, we're still having several episodes left of the second special Telltale movie or video sometime in August. When? No idea. Kind of in the beginning, middle of it, or end of August. Who knows? You know, if anyone had asked, has suggested that one of the other dragons of the Dragon Island could have been that this the offspring between Spike and Rarity, I'd be like, maybe, maybe not. But since every one of the dragons called him the Dragon Lord, and not one of them even called it remotely as Dad, Father, or Daddy, or anything like that. So yeah, I would like if it was like say that, I would like no, that idea is throw out the window. There were no dragons that didn't even say anything like that, and the fact none of the dragons didn't even match similar to any descriptions between other being a hybrid at all. I mean, we don't even know in fact if a dragon can even have an offspring between a pony. In only fan stories that that's possible, but officially in the series, it's unknown. Don't even know if it's possible. considering that there are two different brands of species, reptile and mammal. And realistically, it's not possible for a reptile to even have an offspring with a mammal. I mean, it's like if a human were trying to have an offspring with a crocodile or a snake. That would even work. What would it be? Medusa? Oh man, that would have been pretty weird. Another thing is, even though Spike may have even actually been with Raritan during the time of G4 ending and until when he and others are went to their hibernate. Well, until the other dragons enter this magical hibernation, it's possible that they decide to break up because Spike would have been in his hibernation and Rarity cannot even wake him up. It would take him quite a much long time to even wake up a dragon who has been in a hibernation sleep. According to one of the dragons, it will take at least about 1 or 2 weeks or something like that. So no, I don't think it's that easy. And even if the word that Spike would have been Rarity in that sense, just before the just after defeating Opaline back in the past during time of Twilight ruling, it's possible that he and Rarity can actually been dating the whole time, even though we never no indication to that or no like confirmed or any reference or even mentioning about it. So without that, we can't know for sure if Rarity was seeing Spike. I mean, even though Spike looks older in G4 ending, so I have to say at least that there was a possibility in that. But since Rarity was probably like in her late 40s and early 50s, so if they would have a child, it would have been around that before the last episode, but probably like off screen. But I don't even know. I mean, just look at Pink and Cheese Sandwich. That happened. And we're almost indication that the Flight Court, Sunshine of Discord happened, and that the Apple Dash also could have been an indication that it could happen officially, but that's a big question mark. So who knows? So if some of the other characters actually end up dating, it's possible that Spike and Rarity could also have been dating, even though it was off screen. No indication of that. No looking at each other. No like romance or anything. So, but even if they were that, well, it's possible. I mean, some actually suggests that what if that Spike would end up being a dragon, like Amber? Though, here's the thing: the Dragonlance or the Isle of Scaly, whatever the main dragon now in G5 lives, but it was not even part of Dragonlance. Well, apparently it is, but still, there are only like 4 to 5 dragons total that have been seen. Even Fountain, the blue dragon, she actually spent some time in dungeon, locked up in chains. She wasn't really specified exactly why or when. Yeah, it's possible that Spike could have ended up with Smolder. Even though Smolder was actually a bit a few years older than Spike himself. So Smolder actually probably is closer to Spike's age, even though roughly a few years apart. But other than that, I don't even know. Well, I should probably end the stream soon.
All right, yeah, I got it. I do still have Dad's party, which is gonna happen, I think, at 6. Question mark.
Yeah, and I
Six
think
thirty.
probably I will. So yeah, so I probably will do something else. Maybe watch some YouTube or
I've still got an
something else.
hour to kill, so
I mean, we could probably do some hangman in after stream.
nah, I gotta get ready. I mean, I
Fine.
don't know if it's 6 or 6:30 or I gotta get
Yeah.
packed for dad's because they're gonna be staying there, and it's just gotta figure out what the actual hell we're doing because I have no idea.
Well, fair enough. Hangman about next stream. Yeah,
How
probably.
Hangman next stream? Yeah, probably.
Cody, are you okay with Smash and Pass streams? If you were even interested, join that.
Let us find out. Well, Swedish has it. Basically, we show a bunch of characters, female characters. Don't worry about it. And we say
Uh,
if we want to smash them or pass them. That's how it
and
works.
also, yeah,
Or
and
maybe.
still, yeah, and the pictures itself is no worries. There are no naked pictures or any bikinis ones or anything like that. They're completely like normal, like your average selfie photos. Though there are some, I can say right now, there were at least, just gonna see here. There is one character, Nani from the Leon Stitch. She may wear in the one of the pictures that I have on her. She is wearing that's not even a bikini, but like a short top. You know, that since she lives in Hawaii, and I tried to find it on a different picture, but they were a little bit difficult for that. But yeah, when we do Smash and Pass in after stream, that is the that that is that
that's
that is
when
the
the
time.
veil comes off.
That is the time when I'm using pictures of characters like in
God,
like
those are such good
like
times.
yeah, like Delia at Ketchum, Ash Mom. I did that one with her in bikini. Some other characters in bikini or sexy laundry. That I only do in after streams, not in actual stream. But I mean, yeah.
Let's
So
just say the after streams are the after hours.
they're like the hot ones, but yeah, yes, okay. I'll see you next time, Cody.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. It just derails the
Well,
chaos. I love them. Anyway,
well, those are insane. Well, so far I have 97 characters, and I will try to find some more. At least, I think based on that, it's about just 7 left to find. But it might even not be that possibility that we might not even go for all 100 this time again. It might even be as just 50 because last time we did it was about was it 58 total, but we were about halfway through, give or take. So yeah, but you can ask Roy tomorrow, not tomorrow, but later if he is interested about doing that tomorrow. If
yeah, I'll ask him.
if not, then we can only pass just put on the side for next time and all. But yeah, but yeah, I mean, I had a few already to be found, and I do in fact had. Let's go see. Come on, really? I have a few. I have found already from that's we're not considered as PT-13. And they are not like not naked ones. Nope, nope, nope. So yeah. Well, I want to keep you occupied a little longer. So well, everyone, that has been well, an interesting stream. At least
Mm-hmm.
longer it's supposed to be. I thought about just doing a maybe in one hour and a half, give or take. I was bored and I was like, what the hell to do? So I was like, well, screw it, to the stream. And well, led to this though. I was questioning myself if I'd even do a stream or not, but I did it anyways. I mean, what else to do? I think I had much to watch on TV, and oh yeah. So, well, this is Fish Diablo signing off. Bye.
And goodbye.
And if you see Trump, run!